Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to Loghouse Strong. I'm Alex Lawrence and we just had 2 weekends of great competition. So let's cover the recap of the 2025 Shuswap Showdown. Event number 1 was an overhead medley with a 245 log into a 265 axle and a 200-pound sandbag. The winner was Cam Mowat, but Cam doesn't post anything onto his Instagram, unfortunately. This is from a year ago, so whatever. Apparently he got the fastest time. He was just a little over 20 seconds, and I would imagine he vipered the log, he strict pressed the axle, and apparently he pseudo viper pressed the sandbag. So that would have been really cool to see, but apparently nobody got a video of his lifts. Second place in the overhead medley was Jake Birkland. He got 27.5 seconds. Pretty decent rep on that log. A little bit of a stumble, but that happens to everybody on their first rep. And on his axle, very, very good press. A very good clean, and a very solid press. Very good. And on his sandbag, I'm not sure how much he was doing this in training, but that was pretty clean. I guess he was training, even though he did a last-minute sign-up prior to this contest. In third place, we had Hans Fuhrman. Viper press on the first log, and then a nice split jerk on the axle, and a very clean finish on the sandbag. He's been practicing this a lot. He was posting it a lot, and I knew he was going to do well. And honestly, I thought he was going to win this event, if not come really, really close behind Cam. But yeah, Cam just blew these other two guys out of the water. I mean, Jake was 26.72 and Cam was 20 point something. So that's a really good time from Cam. Good job to those guys. Event number 2 was yoke squat. In first place, joint first place, we had Nathan Martin and Cam Mowat, both managing 13 reps. This was a pretty cool event. I would love to do this event myself. I know that Cam didn't really have a whole lot of practice going into this, so with a little bit more training, he probably could have cranked out a little more, but great work from Nathan. I kind of underestimated this guy. He ultimately ended up getting second place in the whole thing, but great performance from Nathan. And to round out the top 3, we had Hans. He managed 11 reps, just 2 reps behind the other two guys, Nathan and Cam. Pretty good performance. This is another event that Hans was kind of showcasing leading up to this contest. Event number 3, we had Hans in first place. Hans has a really good grip and he's really fast on his feet, so I'm not really surprised that he managed to catch first place in this event. 12.4 seconds, I believe it was. Second place in this event was Nathan. He was just a second and a half behind Hans on this event. Still a very, very good time from Nathan. Excellent work. And in third place was Ty Mormon. He managed 14.79 seconds in this event. He was just right behind Nathan, and he unfortunately didn't post anything onto his IG, and I didn't see any videos of his. So, but either way, the results speak for themselves. Fourth event was an axle deadlift for reps. Nathan came out on top here with 7 reps. That's awesome. Excellent work from Nathan. Again, I was sleeping on this guy. I don't know why. I've competed with him, well, in the same competition as him in the past and thought, wow, this guy's actually pretty good. So really glad to see he had a great performance on this day. In second place was Ty with 5 reps. I really wish I could see a video, just see how well that set went, but great work from Ty. And third place in the axle deadlift, we had Jesse Hall. Jesse's my boy. I was really, really rooting for him. I know that he was training super hard for this contest, and I really wanted him to end up in the top spot in this competition, but glad to see that he did well on this axle deadlift. And the final event was the Conan's Wheel. Yet again, this is a second contest where the contest has more or less ended on a Conan's Wheel. Last weekend at the Twin Rivers Strength Fest, day one was ended with a Conan's Wheel, and at this contest, the whole thing was ended with a Conan's Wheel. This one was especially interesting because, as you can see, the weights are just dangling by a lanyard. Whereas at Twin Rivers, it was actually on a frame, like a T-shaped frame. So there was no kind of swinging, no swaying. So this would be much more difficult because if you had any kind of change in your pace, like any stop, any sudden goes, anything like that, then that weight starts moving around and then you lose your balance almost instantly because this thing is, what was it? It was 500 pounds. So if you have 500 pounds go in front of you, you're not catching it. In joint second place on the Conan's Wheel was Nathan and Dan Ursino. I actually wanted to showcase Dan's performance on this, but he posted every video on his IG for this contest except for the Conan's Wheel. That's too bad. Last weekend, Dan got almost 5 turns, and this weekend, both him and Nathan managed 2.5. Now, like I said, with that weight swinging around, I'm not surprised that Dan didn't get nearly as much. I mean, the winning rotation was 4.5 turns, whereas the winning rotation last weekend was 7 turns. So that just tells you how difficult this implement is over the one from last weekend. Great work, you guys. So at the end of the day, it was Hans on top with 32.5 points. Second place, Nathan, right behind him with 32 points. Half a point. That's so damn close. Third place, Cam with 25. Right behind him was Ty with 24. And then Jake in fifth with 23.5. Sixth was Jesse with 22. Seventh was Dan with 14. And eighth was Morgan with 3 points. This sounds like it was a really cool contest. I heard a lot of good things, a lot of good feedback. I put a thing on my story just asking people what did they enjoy about the contest. And the number one thing is that it was really well run. Cam himself even said that everything ran really smoothly. Everything kind of seemed to run ahead of schedule in terms of amateur strongman standards. And they even had like a 45-minute break for lunch in between events, probably events number 3 and 4. So excellent work from the organizers at Shuswap. I know how hard it must be to put together a contest, and to have it run smoothly like that is awesome. Also, beer gardens. I know I would enjoy beer gardens. Not that I would partake while I'm competing, but that is a nice thing to have. Maybe a beer just to celebrate afterwards. That's pretty cool. So yeah, thanks for watching this recap, guys. The next thing I'm going to be looking at is BC Provincials, because that's the next big contest coming up. All of these smaller shows are done, so now everybody that is potentially qualifying for Provincials is now qualified. And everybody has their invites now, so it's just a matter of people signing up, registering, paying their fees, and training for Provincials. I'm going to take a look at all the people that are going. If there's a sign-up sheet with people confirmed, I will be referring to that sheet, and we're just going to take a look at who will be going and who might end up being the top dog. This is Loghouse Strong. Thanks for watching.